Welcome, friends, and thank you for tuning into the Optimal Health Program once again. Thank you for listening, watching, sending us some great questions. A note on that, years ago, 40 years ago, when I started, and I even started in radio, people didn't have a grasp on really how to be healthy. They didn't know that they should take vitamins or what they should take or when or how much exercise or low carb. People were just not sure about that. They heard Dr. Atkins talk about it and people thought it was crazy, but he was a genius, a very, very nice man, by the way, rest his soul. So it's really nice to actually see people ask well thought out questions. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a great question because I could answer that in 3 parts, and I can really cover a lot of ground. So the way that my brain works, the way that I'm wired, I like being able to answer lots of questions. And of course, my family thinks I just like to hear myself talk, which in part is probably true. I like to hear myself sing. But yeah, so no, it's cool. A lot of people are asking in-depth questions about things, so we love that. Thank you for all our LFA fans and Rumble fans. We have so many of them. And there are times we're hitting well over 300,000 views for the show, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'll just say, to the front page of Rumble, I see we're up there. So this is, this is also a Q&A questionnaire kind of show where you could ask the doctor anything you want. We have telephone services in the studio.
That's right.
And we can answer all your questions. And you could just ask us in the live chat, and we'll get right on it.
888-420-9272 is the number. Is that right?
That is it.
That's the number.
We just got to keep the conversations a little brief because we got plenty of questions to get to.
Funny thing is, a lot of people that I reach from this show and have always with the prior radio show, they would always email the office, with questions. And it used to be, I have this, what should I do? I have diabetes, blah, 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 blah. I'm interested in stem cell. In the past few years, and much more so lately, people will give me like a 2-page narrative. I mean, I can't read through 2 pages worth of info and then try to give you a simple answer. So we typically ask patients to, write out an outline of what they're interested in, et cetera, et cetera. So, or for people to kind of put out that outline and bring it to the office when they come in or they do a telehealth visit. So sometimes I look at them like, wow, this would take me a long time to be able to cover every question that they're answering. But it's good because I think people are much more engaged in their health and trying to be as healthy as humanly possible. It's what we want. Garden City office, if you'd like to call to make an appointment, 516-794-0404. Website, drcalapai.net. We talk about the vitamin
packs. Is it .com or net?
Oh, what did I say? .com.
I heard net. I'm like, I got to change it up.
I had a momentary crisscross into the wires. It used to be .net when I was on the radio for 35 years, so that's why it's still probably in my head. drcalapai.com.
There we go.
The vitamin packs, which we're using with great results. Once we see what your blood work shows with your requirement for vitamins, proteins, etc., fats, we can put together nutrients for you, whether it's from a regular in-office visit or telehealth visit. And we're expanding the telehealth, etc., so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Remote patient monitoring, we're doing a great deal of, which is wonderful. We're able to track patients and look at their blood pressure, their pulse, their rhythm, the oxygen, all sorts of parameters that goes right to our computer so we can track patients better and really fine-tune and work much more closely with them as opposed to doing 3 visits a year and trying to figure out what to do. So we'll get into a whole bunch of really cool things. Any questions?
We did have a caller in the wings, but
caller in the wings.
I don't know if I had the audio routed correctly, so they left because they probably didn't hear anything. But I apologize.
If you can, give us a call back. We're here for the next hour and a half, I imagine, answering questions.
Yeah, let me throw that phone number up there again.
Let's talk about some cool articles. Cool article number 1, Clinical Pearls, Wisdom, Info, which I've always liked doing. So I'm like an information junkie, so when I started practice, when you had a dial-up internet and you had a computer that was like 1.5 feet long with a tiny screen and boop, 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 that horrible modem sound.
We have our caller back, by the way. Let me get him in there.
I used to get articles from that and then talk to patients about it. But I've been doing this forever. We have a caller.
Can you hear us?
Hi there.
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you? Thank you for the call.
Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
This is Log 23 Logan. How are you and Frankie
Great.
doing?
We're doing well, very well. You're starting off the program for us, so everyone's excited to hear what you're going to ask and what I'm going to say.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, what foods do you need to avoid for making anxiety go higher?
Typically, and we spoke about this on the prior show because everybody has some levels of anxiety, so I talk about this all the time. For a lot of people, anxiety comes from low blood sugar. What that means is that if you eat too much carb or things that are high in sugar, your blood sugar goes up, you might feel good, but then your body will release insulin, which can knock your sugar too low and you become anxious. So excess carb creates low blood sugar because of the insulin release, and low blood sugar causes anxiety, and some people panic attacks. So we want to keep that down to a minimum. And of course, you want to test all of your hormones, your vitamins, because hormone decline causes anxiety as well. That's really common. Testosterone deficiency, DHEA, IGF-1 deficiency in men, some, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone deficiency in women as well, and IGF-1. So, you have to look for all the underlying causes.
And my second question I wanted to ask you is, what supplements, I know I asked you this last week, but what supplements do I need to take to get my anxiety down really low? Like, does vitamin C or D help? Or
the best way to answer that
supplements?
Is first we have to correct what your body has requirement for. What that really means is that if your testosterone's low, and it could be, depending upon age, etc., you have to correct the testosterone to 700 because that'll take that anxiety component out of the picture. And I've seen that many, many thousands of times over 40 years where the testosterone may be more of a problem than a nutrient deficiency for anxiety. So low-carb diet, snacking every 3 hours, prevents the sugar from dropping, and you snack on non-carb foods. Correcting testosterone deficiency or thyroid or DHEA or IGF-1. There are other nutrients. Theanine may be beneficial. Some people like chamomile tea and chamomile and passiflora and valerian. Some of those things that are used as well for sleep can help with anxiety. But it's not as though you have a deficiency of, valerian, passiflora, chamomile, or theanine necessarily. Some people use lithium orotate, which is a supplement that helps with calming your body, calming your nerves. But it depends upon the cause. I'm not adverse to using multiple things. I just want to get the best results for you in the most natural fashion. So we would really love to hang our hat on the big cause and fix that first. But we look at all your vitamins in the blood test, all the minerals.
Yeah, I might have to take a blood test, see what I'm low on.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And I know maybe I sound like a broken record, but in all the 40 years of doing this, I always tell the people, write down all your symptoms, et cetera, et cetera. When we sit down or we talk with them with telehealth and we go over it, sometimes it becomes more obvious that there's a blood test abnormality that we would look for and expect to see. And in seeing that, you correct that, and all of a sudden, the problem flips. So,
okay.
Extremely common.
What kind of blood test do I need to take? Sorry.
Well, typically, my blood tests were for the first patient, first visit for the patient would be a CBC blood count. Make sure you're not anemic. Look at your chemistries, which would be all your organ function, your cholesterol, triglycerides, LDL. We look at all the vitamins. We look at heavy metals through blood and urine because heavy metals damage your brain and can affect your neurotransmitters, and that could also make you anxious or irritable. But heavy metals also correlate with Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's. As I mentioned, that testosterone, IGF-1, DHEA, all of these things, because they play a role. They're supposed to be there in your body in great levels to be able to maximize your health. That's why we talk about the perfect level of the hormone or the vitamin, not just being within some wide range, So that's what we do. Most doctors don't do that. Are you local? Where do you live?
I live in Oregon, so I'm not local.
So you could do a telehealth visit. So any Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, we could chat over the phone, take your history, put everything together for you. I could write up a prescription, send it out to you so you can get the blood work done at your local lab there. A week or so later, we review that and then just put it all together.
Okay. And how much does that cost?
Well, the blood test would go to your insurance. Typically, I guess
Okay.
so the blood test would go to your insurance. So that would be the bigger expense, but nobody pays, with the blood work for cash or check because the insurance covers it. Whatever your insurance plan
And
is.
which one do I call, like, for Monday, Tuesday, or whatever day?
Here, sorry, I'm
We'll put the
cutting
number
in.
up on the.
Yeah, I'm
It's
putting it in.
516-794-0404. And you could call Monday at like noon. Tom should be there, and we'll set you up. But Tuesday,
I
Wednesday,
only have
Thursday,
to call
Saturday.
at 9 o'clock because I'm on the West Coast.
Right. So if you call at 9, it would be 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so
Noon
roughly.
there.
Yeah. If you call 9 your time, be noon over here. That'll be fine. And then we'll
Okay.
set you up any Tuesday,
Yeah,
Wednesday,
Chris-
Thursday, Saturday.
And would I be calling you?
Well, you'll speak to the staff, and then we're going to have a visit, so I'll be talking to you on the phone. Absolutely.
I won't be able to travel to New York.
No, it won't be
Yeah,
necessary.
it's a bit much to travel, unless, of course, you have a reason to want to visit New York in
Well-
the spring or the fall or the summer.
Maybe I could have Frankie come here and he could help me do it.
There you go.
All right, Logan. All right.
Cool, man.
My
Thank you so
services
much
are
for your
extra.
call.
Just kidding. We'll talk soon.
Good chatting with you.
Yeah.
Look forward to talking to you, helping you out.
That's great. Great first call, huh?
Absolutely.
All right.
There are so many nice people all over the place, and it's great to talk to them, Looking for some extra info, how to be healthier.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Talking to the chat, talking about caffeine. Oh, they're just kind of adding to the anxiety conversation you guys were having. What else we got? Talking a little politics. A little early for that in the program.
There's always going to be a little of that jumping around.
Oh, yeah, baby. And let me make sure I'm not missing out on my YouTube audience. Because, when we're on Rumble, I'm sorry, YouTube. You're just,
All our
drop down a little bit.
YouTubers are Reddit buddies and people from all over the place. We appreciate all of you. Thank you.
oh, yes. Hello, doctor. Would love to visit you when I see the beautiful city. All right, listen, we try to stay
There you go.
towards we're suburbs, We try to give a little distance.
We're a half hour outside of the city in the middle of Long Island in Garden City, so it's easy to get to. But yeah, the city is great. It always has been great. It's just changed a little bit from what I remember from most of my life. But I still go in and have a nice dinner, every couple of weeks and see my friends.
Someone said that last week you mentioned filtered water being important to prevent Parkinson's, and they just want you to go into that a little more in depth.
Yeah, so we've all found out, and of course everybody's known this for a long time, that there's a lot of garbage in food, and luckily RFK Jr. is getting rid of that. There are heavy metals in water, and whether you look at different sources of water, you should have your water tested at home. There are companies that come to do that and give you an idea as to what metals may be flowing into your house from the street and from wherever else the water comes from, upstate from these massive lakes or reservoirs or aquifers or wherever. But, metals are everywhere. So the more heavy metals you're exposed to, the more you have problems with damage to your brain, your eyes, your organs, every part of your body. And I tell people, go to Google Scholar and start looking up in the search engines, looking up heavy metals in heart disease, heavy metals in cancer, heavy metals in vision loss, in Alzheimer's, in brain diseases. The literature's there. So that's why everybody should be testing their home water to see what may be residing in the water, and then use a full house water filtration system, a triple reverse osmosis filtration system, to pull all that stuff out. Then you're safe, because bathing water, shower water, cooking water, everything would be completely safe.
Boom. We got a question. Someone wants to know if you know anything about black seed oil. I think they're getting some ads on it.
Black seed oil, a variety of people like it. They think it decreases inflammation. There are some people say that it helps your immune response. Some of that still has to be completely proven, but I think it's a safe supplement to take. There are a lot of little things that people talk about and then like. I have a friend who said he feels wonderful on his red beet capsules. And he says within a minute of taking it, he feels great. And, for me, in my brain, I say, well, in a minute, those capsules are just kind of breaking down in your stomach. So how much is really getting into your bloodstream in the minute? I don't know. And how much, once it does get into your bloodstream within 20 minutes or so, does it get around to all the tissues to do what it's supposed to do? So if people feel good with it and it's a safe product, I don't have a problem with it. Sometimes people are spending way too much money on things that don't have bearing or that are not correcting your requirements. What that means is you need A, B, C vitamins, vitamin D. You need all those things that are there that you have a requirement for. You have to correct those. If you don't, you're not going to get the result. You can take all the pycnogenol you want, but if all your other vitamins are low, you won't get a result.
Question on the super patch for calmness. I don't know if you know what that is. The super patch.
I don't know what the ingredients are. There are lots of companies that are advertising and marketing heavily for all sorts of different combinations of things all over the place. So it's hard to say. If I could try to bring it up here on the phone.
Yeah, I'm looking up. I looked up super patch anxiety, and it comes up the Peace Super Patch, a drug-free, non-invasive wearable patch designed to promote calmness and reduce anxiety using, okay, this is when it gets interesting, vibrotactile trigger technology, VTT.
Yeah, I don't know that there is a technology that has been proven, vibrotactile trigger technology. Hypoallergenic adhesive patches feature special ridges. I don't know that this has any science behind it. So I can't comment on it. But if we try to look for literature on it, then I could comment on it. So, and some of the packs might have a little bit of this or that in it. I don't see, let me see, what are the ingredients? Does it say ingredients anywhere?
I'm looking. Hypoallergenic adhesive patch featuring, special ridges and
Glow
sensory
like never before.
signals to
this
the
is
brain.
really marketing and advertising. Glow like never before, more like never before.
Does it just vibrate? Is that what I'm understanding? I don't know.
Yeah, so this is a big campaign, and they have, maybe 5 or 10 different things. Super patch, sleep like super sleep. I don't know. Because there are certain things that really wouldn't be absorbed terribly well through your skin and would be certainly best absorbed under your tongue or orally. So I don't know. I'd have to look to see what's in it and see if it's, and the technology that they're claiming, see if it's real.
I just want to shout out Kit Kat Mar. I see you in the chat, or a very loyal viewer, and she's out in the sun watching our program, and I much appreciate it.
Get that vitamin D. I'm jealous. I want to be sitting in the sun today.
I wish I could hit a button and the roof will open up.
I have an idea. Maybe we should do this where we can remotely do the show outside.
Oh,
that's an idea. I've got a nice view off the deck in the back of my house. You've seen it.
I've seen it.
See the yard. It's beautiful outside. The dogs could be part of the show. We might be able to do that.
We might be onto something here.
It'd be a little crazy, but it would be interesting, right?
I think so.
We just need a camera, right? Or just something.
Yeah, well,
let's
just going to have to minimize this setup a little bit.
Then a good friend of mine has a great vineyard out in Cutchogue, Anthony Sanino. We interviewed him. And I've always wanted to just sit out there among the grapes in the vineyard and just do a show there. Have a little charcuterie board, glass of wine. We have to do that this year.
No question. Even if it's a pre-recorded thing.
Maybe around Harvest Day, because that's when all the grapes are cut off the vine. We can show de-stemming the grapes and crushing and all that. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be great.
Of course, when you drink a lot of wine during that day, you're walking a little crooked. So we'd have to do the show early in the day.
Fair. Yeah. The the video is going to get a little more and more slanted.
Many years ago, I took my family, aunts and uncles and sisters, everybody out to the vineyard, and Anthony's parents were there. His dad was still alive, rest his soul. And there was just a great bunch of people and singing and laughing and joking around and eating and drinking. He had a a big pig on a rotisserie. We had the best time. But that's what life should be about, having the best time with people you love.
I couldn't agree more, Doc. What else do we have? All right, so the conversation is skewed to where's the next RFK? They feel like RFK has been kept in the dark a little bit recently with the press conferences.
I mean, I don't tend to believe anything I see on TV or anything that the media says. I think that he is a highly respected, highly regarded individual. So I think that everything that he's doing is not going to be espoused, on every camera or every microphone or every TV interview. So I think the people that don't like the administration are always trying to make it seem like, oh, where's he been? He's not doing about. Just let him do his thing. He's already done a great job. They continue to do a great job. I just don't believe, and I think that they're always trying to make some sort of rift between one person and the other to negate some of the good that's being done. So
agreed. What else we got? Yes, they're saying in the chat, RFK Jr. is working. Yes,
exactly. He's not sitting out or doing what other people have done that have been in office that have wasted everybody's time. He's actually working. They're doing a job, and so is the president. He's working. All these people in the cabinet are working. Look at how much they've achieved so far. They're working. They're not sitting back, falling off their bicycle or tripping down the stairs.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that they're putting the effort and the time in.
Healthiest sugar substitute for type 1 diabetic.
There's agave. There are a variety of relatively simple things that you could use, which are not sugar per se, so they wouldn't keep your sugar levels up. That being said, we don't want people to maintain a sweet tooth because at some point they're going to say, oh, I'm going to have this, sugary bun or donut or whatever else is there because they're always looking for that sweet sensation. I'd rather have it where they don't really crave the sweet sensation. So the suggestions typically are low-carb diet, a lot of walking, a lot of exercise, yoga, Pilates, indoor, outdoor bike, whatever activity you'd like to do to constantly burn the sugar, and flood oxygen, vitamins, minerals, and hormones to all your cells. There are nutrients that are great to help to stabilize sugar, as well help to bring down cholesterol. Hormone decline certainly correlates with all of this. Heavy metal exposure damages the pancreas. And then the ultimate mechanism to help the pancreas is stem cell therapy. So we have a variety of things that we do that are not the traditional medical drug thing. It's just you have to be careful with maintaining the desire for sweet because sooner or later, you go back to the other.
Right. What else we got? Belmar Beach in the summer. We can hang out. Belmar. Is that Jersey?
Jersey, yeah. Jersey Shore.
Oh.
So I did my intern residency in Union Hospital in Union, New Jersey, and all my friends there were from, New Jersey. And they all had summer places down by the shore. Not at, but down by the shore is the term that we all use. And we had a terrific time. A lot of great friends there. I remember going to Jenkinson's and, it's just mob with people, and it was a lot of fun. This is way before the Jersey Shore TV show came out to make everybody look bad. But, it was a great place and nice little places to rent down there. A lot of nice places along the shore. But, yeah, I remember it well.
Said, oh no, no alcohol out on the beach. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what people have ruined for us.
Yeah, some people go a little overboard.
What else we got? RFK. All right. Media has been quiet about the study of myocarditis ties to clot shot.
Yeah, it's been there. They're finding this in every country. They're finding it in kids. So the problem is that there are multiple side effects to the things that had never been tested. So if you create a new technology and you throw it out there without testing it, and on purpose you're putting all this crazy crap in it, this is what's going to happen. So that's what's affected a lot of young people. It's killed young athletes, super duper healthy, strong athletes, crashing over on the field and dying. And they're finding these massive clots. Even the funeral directors and the undertakers are talking about it and showing these clots. So it's unfortunate. You may have to look at other media or media from different countries around the world to actually hear about what's happening, because it's being blocked here otherwise.
Just in addition to that, someone said 1.7 million children found they suffered myocarditis and pericarditis only in children who received a COVID mRNA shot.
That's been all over social media. I've seen at least 10, 15 references for that, even within peer-reviewed journals, So these are real things. Someone's got to be held accountable.
Yeah, someone else is mentioning the CDC update. They made a new study basically pointing to this. Who's in charge of the CDC now? Do you know?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think they've ever given out the name of the director of the CDC because they don't want to. And I'm certainly that person doesn't want to be seen as the head of an organization that is.
Oh, you're actually right. Right now, there's just an acting director, Jay Bhattacharya.
Yeah.
But acting just because no one's taking that place right now.
Yeah, no one wants to be under fire.
It's hot.
And they should be.
All right, what else we got? Happy spring, happy Saturday.
Absolutely, happy spring. It's here. The good weather's coming.
Oh, yeah. I worked in Seaside in the early 80s and am not
Seaside.
The joke of the Jersey Shorecast. I am not the look.
Seaside. I mean, the funny thing, the show was funny. It was just highlighting a small percentage of crazy people that, made it a tabloid-like show so that everybody wanted to watch the next disaster. That's what tabloid journalism and shows are. And all of my friends that I know from there that I've kept in touch with hated it because they thought that it made everybody there look like that, which is not true.
Yeah. Since then, those people that were on that show, they've come a long way. I think a couple of them are sober.
Oh, please go away, people from that show. They had their 15 minutes of fame. Okay. Let's move on.
Oh, man.
There's only so much you can take of that stuff.
Yeah, it's the brain rot of society, we call it here.
I had a friend who was an intern when I was a resident there, and he became a doctor in that area.
I could only imagine the things that
he would tell me, all the, alcohol poisoning, STDs. I'm like, okay, why would you want to open up there? Because you want to sit out in the sun in the afternoon after you see,
It's like being in Vegas, Yeah. You'll see it all. All right, what else do we got here? Seaside had enough of their own characters. Didn't need any of those from that show. Trash. All right, YouTube. I see ya.
The tubers. Where are the tubers?
People are talking. There's not, I'm not getting specific questions. Just,
It's all right. They can bring us into the conversation. They can talk back and forth. That's always good.
Love it. I'm going to throw up the phone number again because we do have a lot
888-420-9272 if you'd like to call in and ask a question.
We are live. Some people think, are you not live? Well, we're live, baby.
We are live right on the front page of Rumble from the LFA world to your world, to your cell phone, your computer. All the technology that's happening, it's exploding. I'm going to ask one of my friends that's sitting here in the antechamber, am I talking about the project? Definitely. So there's a genius that I know. I don't know that many people that are geniuses.
I didn't know if he was there.
Genius that I
hiding
know,
in the wings.
who's created coding, which is beyond anything I could ever understand, and AI technology that is. It seems like it's changing almost week to week, or just jumping by leaps and bounds. And of course, people know AI. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer. Cool. but there's so much more that it can do in lightning fast time that would take months or years for people to do. And I love the fact that I can open up my iPad Pro. On one hand is my electronic medical record, where we have templates for each visit, so the comments are put into different sections: subjective, objective, assessment, plan, recommendations. On the left side, the AI takes the discussion with the patient and myself, whether they're in the office or telehealth, and makes it into a note, a perfect note, just copy and paste. So it's amazing. Downloading articles is unbelievable. I can have it give me 5-10 articles or more a week and teach it what I want to look at: vitamin deficiency and disease, how vitamins improve this or that, more statistics on heart disease, cancer, this, that, diabetes, and everything's right there. I look at it, comment it, send it to the web person. They put it on the website, which raises my position, puts it on social media, so there's so much that's happening. The beauty and the thing that we're doing to reach a lot of people, to be able to evaluate them and, treat them as I do in office, is a mechanism that's been created called Hemologics. And it's a way where anybody can take their blood work from last year, the year before, this year, put it into the program. AI-assisted nurse, doctor, will put this together for you, so you're getting a beautiful read of your blood work from AI, which are sort of brains, for lack of a better term, that can give you a better read on your blood work than the average doctor or the doctors that are traditional doctors, because sometimes they just don't explain things. I wouldn't be the first person to ever say that. I hear it all day long for the past 40 years. So the overview is, once the blood work is evaluated, you can get recommendations for exercise, diet, even supplement ideas. Those ideas are based upon how I would recommend supplements to get people into the best range. You do a telehealth visit, you could actually speak to a doctor. Put all that together. If your blood work doesn't have a vitamin panel on it because your doctor didn't do it or didn't ever do it, then we can write a prescription to have you get that. We can get hormones done. Whatever you haven't done out of our 25-page test, we would recommend that you do, and then revisit that with the doctor, get recommendations for hormones, peptides, vitamins, and then once we make a recommendation, recheck that recommendation to know that that is perfect for you. Great. So this doesn't exist anywhere. This is the first mechanism, the first platform that's doing this. So it's a beautiful thing to see how this has evolved. So over the course of the next, month or so, we'll be bringing this out to everybody. It'll go out on social media. It'll come out here on the podcast. We'll have landing pages and websites and information for it. It's a really terrific idea, and it's simple. For Medicare patients, you sign up, sign in, put your blood work in, you get your telehealth visit. The recommendations are made by the doctor. Medicare pays for that visit because it's a telehealth visit. That's a regular telehealth visit. And we can then set those people up with RPM, blood pressure cuff, glucometer, watch, ring, band on your wrist. So it reads all your vitals and goes right to the computer. It's genius. And, I could grandstand and say, hey, you're going to see this happen so much going forward in the future because it's creating a tight relationship with your doctor. How? If you've got a high blood pressure, you see your doctor 3 times a year, that's not such a great relationship because he's got 3 or 4 readings of your blood pressure. But if you wear the cuff and it goes to the computer every day and the doctor sees you after 3 months, 6 months, a month, a year, he sees all of your readings and can see that you're doing better or worse. So he can more acutely correct the problem instead of you really getting worse, kind of losing health and function and end up in the ER for a crazy $300,000 ER visit. That's why Medicare doesn't want to go that route. They'd rather have you monitored and talk to your doctor now and then, telehealth, to adjust your meds, as I would say, adjust your vitamins. And if we've helped someone lose weight and they've lost 10, 15 pounds of weight, and magnesium levels are good. We have them on the vitamins and their blood pressure comes down, get them off the meds. It's such a brilliant thing. Any doctor would dream for this sort of thing because the connection's there and you're fixing things right away, not trying to figure out what to do every 4 to 6 months without enough information. So soon there'll be other technologies that will be able to evaluate you at home. A little pad you might wear on your chest. It's like an EKG. It is an EKG. Some of the watches do that. The Samsung watch does that, I think, and maybe even the Apple Watch. But then if you wear this pad and you get on your exercise bike in your house and you change the speed up and down, it's like a mini stress test. Goes right to our computer. So what will be better than having this data? Nothing. So Hemologics, look for it. We'll be talking a lot more about it week to week and then putting all of this in place. Great stuff.
Oh, yeah. And someone just was asking, like, is Hemologics tied into the telehealth program?
So, yes. Now, in anticipation of a tsunami worth of people wanting to do this, which we know is going to happen, and every patient I've spoken to, every friend and people who've asked me about it, I've explained it. People from every state of the country and maybe from other places as well have the option of doing this. So we've linked with a doctor telehealth group that can take up to, that already are doing 300,000 to 400,000 telehealth visits a month. And they're going to be trained by me. Just like I trained the AI to make the vitamin recommendations more specific, better ranges, etc. So that'll be all set and available for you. So our friend out in Seattle, our friends all over the country, and I think we have people coming and watching from all over the country. We should ask people to give us a text or a call and tell us where they're from and see if we can tell from their accent where they're from. So we'd love to hear from people and see what state you're calling from, but you can do this from any state. Simple, 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful. Couple other questions. Can patients interact with you or your team after the AI generates recommendations?
Absolutely.
Just asking generally.
So there are going to be people who do that part and then who want to, call the office and set that up for a consult with me, which of course you can do. This is what I've always done. So I'm sort of dancing between, wearing different hats, which is great. There were times before COVID when we were slammed and we're seeing 100 new patients a week. So myself, my PA Mindy, Jackie, our nurse prac, we were busy. So the idea is that this is what we love to do. And it's easy because we're putting things in place so it's one step after the other. Blood work, telehealth, visit, etc., recommendations, recheck the blood. It's nice and easy. And the patient gets the benefit of a lot more information, a lot more understanding, connection with the doctor much more closely. So for the patient, it's awesome, as you can obviously imagine. Far better protection. There are studies now out there that are saying it's saving lives and saving a great amount of money because you're working on things right away, not letting them brew. For the doctor, it's great because they just have that connection with the patient and can fix things. How can you really fix things if people come in twice a year? Okay, Mrs. Jones, last time we saw you, you had this, and you haven't come back for blood work, and, blah, blah, blah. We got to do that now. It's harder work to do it like that, piecemeal. And then people can opt to have a telehealth visit once a month, every 2 months, every 3 months, whatever they want to do. We have a setup for that, a platform for that. And I think there are 74 different things in our formulary. Besides the vitamins, rapamycin, methylene blue, different recommendations for medications, hormones, peptides. It's a super cool thing. And I'm totally excited to be a part of it with the genius of all geniuses, my buddy Stan.
You just answered the other few questions we had, I think, in that beautiful monologue. I think someone gave us a nice little motto. It says, "This isn't replacing traditional medicine; it is enhancing it." Love
Absolutely, it is. It's making it better with all sorts of new ideas and concepts, and fine tuning, which, as I say, has never existed before. And the the cool thing is that AI had a massive hand in creating all this. What it took to do this would have taken at least 5 years and maybe 100 people with coding and everything else. But knowing the ins and outs and knowing the AI as well as he does, this was put together over the course of a couple of months. And once you tell AI what you want and how to keep testing itself and checking itself and scrutinizing, it's way beyond my pay grade. It's amazing. And every time he talks to me and explains something to me, I'm like, can you just kind of explain that again? It's just so incredible as to the capability of this mechanism, this AI.
And the chat's just talking about how this is going to just be a huge cost saver because you're going to catch things.
Staggering amount of costs savings. So this is why Medicare jumped all over this with the RPM. And, think about it. And yes, if we get people off a cholesterol pill or a blood pressure pill, you're saving a couple of bucks. And you magnify that out to from 100 people to 1,000 people to 300,000 people, et cetera, and beyond, because there's no limit to what this can do. It's not as though we have to have 50 people in an office. When you're interacting on the computer, the overhead is minimal, but the connection's there all the time and anytime you want it. Preventing people from having a heart attack is a gigantic thing. Person's got some chest pain. They're like, I think it's indigestion. We send them the RPM device, look at their pulse, see it's a little wonky, and we get them evaluated. Hey, if you didn't follow this up, you could have had a big heart attack. You just prevented a heart attack. And that's a huge amount of money and a huge amount of potentially life lost or, morbidity or mortality, as we describe it in the jargon. So you're diabetic. Well, let's say that person within a couple of weeks or months going to have a stroke. If we see their pressure's off and it's going up, deal with it right away. Done. There's so much that's coming out to be able to evaluate you at home. It's spectacular. Every time I turn around, there's another device or another thing.
Unreal. People just ask if this is available yet. It will be soon.
Very soon. The RPM is available for Medicare patients and even non-Medicare. So we could set that up, with telehealth visit or consults through the office. The Hemalogic's 95% there. Just a little tweaking, just a little reevaluating itself and stuff. It's I'm sure I'm going to interview Stan here one of these days, and he'll be able to explain how all this works and what he's done. It's a pretty cool story.
Beautiful. Okay, so that's all the questions. I have a milk question, but it's a bit of a transition.
Okay.
I have a milk question. This comes from one of our viewers. I use Family Farmstead, A2 milk.
Yeah, good.
Low temperature pasteurized.
Good.
Hard to get sometimes.
Yep.
Do you know of any others that are low temp pasteurized?
Where do they live?
It's a good. I think this might be one of our Jersey viewers. Let's find. Give them a moment.
Frank, can you look online for A2 milk in New Jersey? I go to a place, Moolah Farms. I've been talking about it for a long time now, and they have A2 milk and cream and half, et cetera, and they're great. And I love the A2 milk. It tastes like milk should, not that blue-tinged watery stuff that I don't know that anybody likes the taste of.
I'm looking into it.
I'm sure there are places that have it. Lots of big dairy farms or medium or small-sized dairy farms should have it. And I think there are more and more family-run farms that will have the A2 milk, the organic eggs, the organic free-range chicken, where you see the chicken 1 minute and then, they hand you a nice warm bag of chicken. I used to do that out in East Hampton, Iacono's Farm, which is a wonderful place. It's still open, by the way. And I've been going there for more than 40 years. But great stuff. Go out and buy your stuff without preservatives, chemicals, colorings, dyes. Go out and buy real food. Big difference. Sundays, I typically get up, play with the dogs, feed them, take them out, go to church, go to the store, go to Moolah Farms, go to my mom's house. Of course, I got to call her on the way over to the house or the farm, pick up some chicken and different things that we like from there. And this nice chicken in either the air fryer or the oven with little paprika, whatever you want to call it, some seasonings, is delicious. It's this soft, delicious chicken. It's not like this cardboard sort of
got a caller
tasteless stuff.
Got a caller coming in. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi there.
Hello?
Can you hear
Hi.
us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for your call. What's your question?
I was, every time I go to the doctor, to get something, I've had mucus since 2020. I got COVID, never took the shot, but I asked for a detox, for a heavy metal panel of heavy metals, because we know our food and our environment is polluted.
Yeah.
And
Traditionally,
I read an
doctors, they
article.
won't do that. They won't do that.
I know. They said that if they would treat people with diabetes and all this other stuff with first trying to detox, that they would find that things would clear up a lot better. And I am just amazed. We pay, $3,000 a year? I didn't even go to the doctor this year. And I never got COVID, never got sick in like 2 years now. And I'm just pissed.
Well, yeah,
that
I speak
can't
to people
get
like
proper
yourself
care
all day
from
long.
my doctor.
Yeah, I speak to people like yourself,
I
and you're
can't get
smart
proper care.
all day long, whether on the phone with telehealth or in the office. The traditional approach leaves a great deal to be desired, and they don't want to catch up and read about heavy metals and learn about all that. I mean, people with recurrent mucus or cough, sometimes it's allergy-related, a virus. If it's yellow, green, or brown phlegm, it could be bacterial. I have a young lady today that I just saw.
Oh, no, it's not. It's the way I look
I'm
at
telling
it
you what I
is
see,
that
so-
I am healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
telling
think
you what
my
I see
body's
within patients.
reacting.
So yellow, green, or brown mucus
Yeah.
is typically made from a bacterial infection. Viruses tend to be clear. And any neurologic issues
mine
occurring
has-
with some of these things sometimes could be Lyme disease. We found that as well. So you got to test all those things,
well-
especially the metals.
Well, I live in Southern California, LA County, so.
Mm-hmm.
I've been treating myself
Mm-hmm.
with NAC and glutathione and
Good.
vitamin D
I mean,
and all
you
that
certainly
stuff
could do the
for
telehealth
3 or
visit.
4 years now.
With the office, you can do a telehealth visit with my office. We'd send you prescriptions to get the heavy metal testing through blood and through urine, get all of those things tested, vitamins, minerals, hormones, absorption, digestion, and then make some recommendations
That's
for
exactly what, yes, exactly. But it's just upsetting that we have great health insurance through the federal government and that they pay Kaiser and they won't do the simple testing that
Well,
we
it's
need,
really, it's
or
set
give
up and it's
us the
controlled by the
medication we
powers that
need.
be. You know, traditional
Yes.
doesn't want to do anything other than, write the meds and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, people are getting
Yeah.
smart. They're looking out. They want to learn more, and they're getting online and reading and, listening to shows like this. That's what you have to do. You got to figure out how to get the information because they're not going to give it to you otherwise. Thank you so much for your
Okay,
call.
well.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for clarifying that they're doing it on purpose.
Yep. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. All right.
Bye now.
That's great, and it's beautiful. We're in New York, and we're obviously a very we're outnumbered here with the
Yep.
with the crazy libs. But it's nice to see LA County. We got you guys are watching the stream as well. We love to find those little pockets. We're
Absolutely.
outnumbered out there.
Absolutely love to be able to talk to people that have a nice, clear, open mind and want to learn, And I tell people every day, go to Google Scholar, look at this, look at that. Here's an article on this, here's an article on that. And the more we educate people, the better. We're going to have a pretty extensive newsletter, I think. I spoke about this last night with Hemologic. So I'm going to, have AI give me between 10 and 20 good new articles a week on all sorts of different things that I'll ask it: vitamin deficiency and disease, vitamin benefits, new statistics on heart disease, cancer, as I mentioned before. And that we're going to take to both send it out to social media and put it on a newsletter so people can really read the research and the information that's out there. Want people to see it, want people to learn.
Make sure I'm not missing my YouTube crowd over here. Pretty quiet. All right. Okay, we got a few here. B1 supports normal energy metabolism, which can affect how heavy or thick mucus feels when people... Oh, this was regarding that other conversation. Many states issue driver's license from citizens at age 17. Okay, I don't know what we're... People, you guys are talking about everything, huh? I don't know. No question there. Okay. Good. ShopRite seems to be a spot for the A2 high pasteurized, but I would just go on your GPS, search farm, and just keep calling the closest
find
one.
a local farm.
Yeah,
because you'll
end up
get
being
the
just
best.
Sometimes it's even cheaper. You're like, what's happening?
Yeah, I don't know how much a regular gallon of milk is because I don't normally buy gallons of milk. But I think the A2 gallon of milk at Moolah Farms is like $10. But it's delicious. You'll never want to drink other milk again. It's got the cream on the top. It's just delicious. And once you have a food that you've tried before that's got chemicals and stuff in it, and you have chemical-free food and healthy organic food, you're like, wow, just a whole different thing.
All right, chat's quieted down a bit. The
So
questions.
let's go to some cool articles.
Yes.
Here's one about ultra-processed foods may increase heart disease risk. Big new study written by Erica Watts. And let's see, talked about ultra-processed foods and heart disease. Looked through the entirety of the population, different ethnic backgrounds. They found an association of nearly double the risk of heart disease per serving of ultra-processed foods in Black Americans. Curious as to why one population of people might have higher risk than others, but similarly, diabetes, hypertension is higher there, coronary disease. A multi-ethnic study confirms these findings. I'm trying to see where this was done. Yeah, so we're part of the multi-ethnic study of atherosclerosis, looking at cardiovascular disease from 40s to 80 years of age with a 12-year follow-up. The participants who ate the most servings of ultra-processed foods on average were 67% more likely to have heart problems, and sugary foods carried the highest risk. Unbelievable. Dr. Cheng Han Chen, MD, board-certified interventional cardiologist, Saddleback Medical Center. Cardiovascular disease already leading cause of death. Adding 67% risk is insane. Don't eat the garbage. He's not saying that, but I'm paraphrasing. Don't eat the garbage. So, yeah, it's just, people are just quickly running to eat horrible foods. And that's what it gets you. Bad heart risk.
Talking in the chat, apparently there's a documentary came out on Netflix called The Plastic Detox, and it's quite eye-opening. Good.
Yeah, I have to look at
Finally.
that. And this was the American Journal of Cardiology. Journal of American College of Cardiology. Always like to reference where the article came from.
I have someone in the chat talking about they gave up processed foods for Lent, and they're just feeling
Good.
the difference.
Smart. Better. And it doesn't take that long to feel better once you get that stuff out of your body. People within a couple of days to a week, or certainly within the month, say, this is better, that's better. Now they can get up and do the exercise, walk further. Your body does better without that stuff in it.
Yeah, but It's interesting. Someone else is talking about how, even when you think you're getting rid of processed foods, it's getting harder and harder to know what is or isn't.
Yeah. But you've got to look at the foods. Go online and look at foods and ask the questions, or go on AI and say, is that cheese I'm putting in my sandwich real cheese, or is it a cheese-like product that's not real cheese? Some people will be shocked to know that some of what they're utilizing is not real, or there's so much chemical in it. Artificial sweeteners and brain aging. We've talked about this before. Another great study talking about aspartame, sucralose, erythritol, etc., causing problems with memory, focus, concentration. The journal Neurology, famous journal, declines in memory that are significant, overall thinking skills, equivalent to about 1.6 years of brain aging. So your brain will do poorly the more you are exposed to the bad chemical sweeteners. Another great article about extra virgin olive oil. Help to preserve cognitive function. There's a gut-brain axis that works between what your gut is doing and your brain, of course, as you absorb great vitamins, minerals, and hormones. Great for your brain, every part of your body. But extra virgin olive oil seems to be a great addition. And, of course, we talk about people taking a tablespoon of olive oil first thing in the morning or at night. Here, the gut-brain axis regulates mood, behavior, stress, cognitive function. Gut microbiome is important. But the extra virgin olive oil seems to have great protective effect. And this is through a variety of facilities. One is the Biochemistry, Biotechnical Department, Universitat Rovira in Spain. Dr. Jordi Salas Salvado is the lead researcher on this. Pretty interesting, benefits. Extra virgin olive oil helps for gut microbiome biome and flora. I think, and there's literature on extra virgin olive oil helping to kill Helicobacter, which is a bacteria that can cause stomach cancer. So,
none of that in my system. Plenty of extra virgin. Battling
good.
that.
Put the good stuff on board.
Someone's saying that extra virgin olive oil, they gargle it for if they lose their voice. So
yeah, why not?
They said it's a secret family recipe.
Why not?
Interesting.
People have been using natural remedies for centuries.
It lubricates
and
the
some
pipes.
of them make a great deal of sense. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Kills the bad things, kills the germs.
Love it. What else? All right, we got someone in the chat that's just getting back to the gym. Spring is upon us.
Good.
Somehow I'm still not going. I got problems.
Got to rock it. You got to get the desire there. I think once the sun comes out, the weather gets better. A lot of people say, hey, I've got to get to the gym because I want to look good for the summer. It happens to me every year. I mean, I've always worked out, trained. I've always done karate every week. I've gone to the gym all the time. And now I went back to the Mecca, East Coast Mecca of bodybuilding, Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym in Syosset. I was there years ago with a good friend of mine, Big J, who's like 6'9", and gigantic and in unbelievable shape. And, you kind of waltz away here and there, and I was going to other gyms, and now I came back, and the owner, Steve, is terrific. And I walked into the place, and there's like 20 people that I know that are there. Hey, Chris, how are you? How have you been? Blah, blah, blah. So now I'm going there a few days a week. Friday mornings, I go with my friend Rich. We work out. And then with Derek Panza, who's a wonderful boxing and MMA coach, I train with him. We hit the bags with the gloves, do all that. And then at 1:30 in the afternoon, I go back to my karate school because I'm off on Friday. And we do a karate workout. So I'm pushing myself to see how much I can handle before I crash. Now, to see how much better I can feel and do. And I have way more energy, and I'm just pushing myself. So that's Friday. Then Saturday's the gym. Sunday, gym karate. Monday, gym karate. Tuesday's karate at night. Then Wednesday or Thursday, go to the gym. Somewhere I'll take a day off. But honestly, lately, I just feel like working out and doing more and more because I feel better with it, So.
And we got some rest in peace Chuck Norris in the
Oh,
chat.
yeah. Yeah, I've had discussions with my karate buddies about this. He was, everybody loved Chuck Norris. No one ever said anything bad about Chuck Norris. Great personality. Think of it. He was there in the beginning of martial arts, and he's been there all the way through. Class act. Great fighter. I know people that saw him fight. And there were other good, karate practitioners or martial artists throughout the years, but everybody revered Chuck Norris. There's got to be a lot to said for that. So great career as a martial artist, great career as an actor, TV show, movies and stuff, just a great guy. So, there's sort of the end of an era. I don't think there are that many other people who are in that realm that are still, around or still with us. But terrific guy, rest in peace, rest his soul. I'm sure he's going to enjoy heaven. Good man, good religious man.
All right, that up to date on questions.
Let's see what else we have here. Lithium.
Here we go, real quick.
Okay.
Is there a cure for lichen sclerosis?
Lichen sclerosis, no, there's no cure. Cure is a tough word for any medical concern because it makes it seem like if you cure something, it can never come back and all the parameters or all the symptoms correlating with it will be gone. So cure is a tough term. I don't use the word cure for anything. Cure for common cold you hear about, I don't use that term. If we can say we did this and now the person's better and the problem didn't come back, wonderful. I still don't like the word cure because people have this expectation of, this perfect, cure, but we don't talk about it that way.
Anything to mitigate, they're asking.
It's hard to say. We'd have to look at heavy metal exposure. We'd have to look at immune response. Is there an overwhelming inflammatory cascade, making it worse? I'd have to research whether or not stem cells would be an advantage. It may very well be, but we haven't seen it or treated it yet.
If at first you don't succeed, you are not Chuck Norris.
That's right.
He was a Christian, someone said. What is a good essential amino acid?
I think all the aminos are good, and some people like to take aminos in capsule form. Other people like to take them in liquid or drink form. Some people like to use them in injectable form. You need all of them. It's not as though one's going to make that much more of a difference. However, there's always been comment in literature about lysine, arginine, ornithine, and glutamine helping with the creation of growth hormone. If your factories are shutting down, can you take those and have the levels of a 20-year-old? No, but they may be beneficial. So it's hard to say unless we take them and test to see what your IGF-1 level is. So some people want to try it. They'll get on those things, lysine, arginine, ornithine, and glutamine. And then you check their IGF-1 before, check the IGF-1 after. If it doesn't move, it's not going to help them. They may need to do the injectable IGF-1 to be able to create those results. Better hair, skin, nails, mood, memory, sexual drive, muscle strength and endurance, etc. So it depends upon what we're up against. It's just like anything else. People come in and say, well, I have this, what should I do? I said, well, we have to figure out why you have that. What's the cause?
Someone said, I plan to do that. Doctor, I have been downsizing my house for 2 years, and now I will downsize me.
Okay. Sounds like a good idea.
All right, Mary, I am. I love it.
Sounds good. People have all sorts of different ways of describing things. I had a person that came in the other day sounding like Roddy Dangerfield. Hey, Doc, how are you? I get no respect. He goes, yeah. He goes, I got a lot of allergies. I want to be tested for them. I said, well, what happens, with do you get a rash? He goes, no, I break out in fat. So, of course, we help the patient with a low-carb diet and exercise. One of the patients, I said, do you do exercise? Yeah, I typically do this, do that. I wait until this time of day because I know that because they walk through an area that's an industrial area. I get up, I do the exercise, I walk through an industrial area, I go over to the Roach Coach, I get a cup of coffee and a sandwich. I'm like, Roach Coach is the term used for those steel, what would you call them, trucks that, the sides open up and they park at industrial areas, so a lot of workers come out and get some food. But I'm not sure the food is going to be that good. But yeah, that was his way of doing the exercise and eating something like a sandwich, which is totally wrong for
low carb
his purposes, so we have to change that around a little bit. I said, is there any way you could walk a different way to avoid the Roach Coach and, go to a nice deli and just get something that's healthy?
I didn't know they were called that. I won't lie.
Oh, yeah, Roach Coach. That term's been around for, I'm sure, 100 years. Any area where you have, people working in big buildings or factories or body shops or wherever, car dealerships, these trucks make their way around. They do really well.
By the way, we got some people in the chat saying that there seems to be a mystery about Chuck's medical emergency. We got a whole new conspiracy we're going to have to go down.
So, yeah, I don't know what happened. Apparently, he didn't feel well, and they rushed him to the hospital. That sort of thing points towards, I guess, a heart attack. I imagine maybe a stroke. But, the guy was fit. I saw his last video where he's hitting a guy wearing pads, and he was doing good. He was a great fighter, and his technique was great. Wasn't wobbly, so I think he was in good shape his whole life. So it's pretty weird to think, what caused it? Sooner or later we'll figure it out. We'll find out. But, I worry if he had an injectable and that caused a clot, so I don't know. Only the good die young.
Such a true song. What else? Crowd's been, they're just hanging out.
Yeah, it's sunny.
I get it.
People rather look out the window and sit outside in the sun. So I was going to talk about lithium a moment ago. We'll talk about that now. Another study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, Neurology Division, indicated that low-dose oral lithium, a drug, could slow memory decline in older adults that have cognitive impairment. The neuroprotective effect was apparent in those who tested positive for amyloid beta, a hallmark of Alzheimer's. While lithium offers the potential to slow the clock, evidence does not indicate it's a cure. No, there's no cure. Interesting thing is that lithium ortate's been available as an over-the-counter supplement in low dose. And I think that's far better and less risky to take without any significant side effect. Helps with mood stabilization, cognitive support, neuroprotection, stress reduction, sleep enhancement, etc., 5 to 20 milligrams. I think that would be better than necessarily using the drug. And that's easy to get over the counter, so it tends to make sense to me. Also, there's a new blood test that's supposed to be able to detect dementia years before symptom onset, up to 25 years before in women. And the blood test is a plasma level of the p-tau, T-A-U, 217 marker. Now, every lab doesn't have it yet, so we have to wait until the big labs say, oh, yeah, let's get that, and tell the whole world to do this test, because they're not going to buy a machine and spend a ton of money on a device unless lots of doctors are going to do it. But as research like this comes out, people get a hold of it, the doctors ask their lab to do it. it makes sense. The thing that I like to do is a brain scan where you wear a funny hat on your head, stretchy cap, and it's got 20 different leads that go to a computer, and with a little bit of gel between the flat metal lead, you're reading electrical impulse from the brain. So you can get a brain speed test, a P300. You're getting a variety of different things that give us an idea as to the function in different parts of your brain. So that's a great test because it looks at every part of your brain. And it can predict whether or not you already are starting to have issues. So,
kind of a side note, but someone in the chat said, oh, maybe Dr. Chris can talk about the mercury in the dental industry. They discussed it a bit last night on one of the LFA shows.
So for many, many years, fillings have been the silver amalgam fillings, and that's 50% mercury. And for many years, people have been objecting to it, and the powers that be have not, listened. Just like other injectables have mercury and aluminum, et cetera, and monkey kidney cells, and if you ever saw a list of what's in those injectables, you would never in a million years allow that for yourself, pregnant or otherwise, or for your baby. There are bad chemicals in the environment that cause problems. And you could easily look up online and look at mercury and heart failure, mercury and Alzheimer's disease, mercury and MS. Look up mercury against all sorts of other medical issues, and you'll find literature there. So it's not good to have that in your body. So why would it be okay to be in the fillings of your teeth? Just because that silver filling will last longer than a porcelain filling? Better off with the porcelain filling. Or why would the mercury have to be there in the first place? That's another thing I don't understand. I've been talking about this a lot lately. When people make food processing, why does there have to be all these chemicals in it? I imagine they want the meat to look red and bloody and injected and, use meat glue and all this other stuff so that could sell better and maybe quicker, or maybe it lasts on the shelf longer. But who's in charge of putting all this crap in the food? And who is in charge of putting mercury in the fillings for your teeth? And why can't it be something completely inert and safe? Different organizations are being sued because of their bias, because of their not being truthful in what they were pushing and recommending. But more will come out about that. We'll talk about that next time, I think. So why is all this garbage in our food?
Somehow it goes back to our government, right?
Of course, chemical companies and food manufacturer feels it's a good idea to put it in there to make their product more appealing in some way, shape, or form. And then, politicians are paid off to let them do whatever they want. Remember many years ago, cigarettes, they're great, blah, 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 blah. 4,000 chemicals that it takes to make cigarettes. Oh, they're so great, they're good to calm you down, blah, blah, blah. How many people died as a result of cancers from cigarette smoke or emphysema? Same issues. So things we were told before that were safe and were great were not. Look up the Tuskegee experiment. That's something that people are not going to be able to wrap their head around. The Tuskegee Airmen, wonderful, people that did a spectacular job of work during, in the armed forces. Look at the Tuskegee experiment and what they did to these poor people. The government's been experimenting on people forever. There was a doctor, I forget his name, who was talking about they were using orphan children to test out injectables and vaccines just to see what would happen. It's criminal. The Tuskegee experiment, separate from the Tuskegee Airmen, who really never got the credit they deserved, which they should have, trailblazing pilots. The Tuskegee experiment was a 40-year study, U.S. Public Health Service. Was a syphilis study. 600 African-American men in Macon County, Alabama, 400 with syphilis, 200 without, conducted this study, and they were injected to see what the outcome was, what the risk was. So I'm going to make a list of all the things that the experiments have been done government-wise, just so you can see what's what.
It's amazing because I knew about the Tuskegee experiment, but I didn't know it went on from the 30s to the 70s.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Could you imagine? That's what those people thought was okay. Hey, let's just do some wacky research and let's see what happens. For what?
We are just being, someone said we are just being used as lab rats.
Horribly manipulated, for sure.
Unbelievable. Chat's just chilling.
Alrighty, well, we've done a lot of great talking today, a lot of great stuff we've covered. Thank you for listening. God bless you all. Have an amazing day. And we'll be back here next Saturday. Please take a look at the website, drcalapai.com. Call the office, 516-794-0404. Go to the website, and you certainly could email me. And we could have a little bit of a dialogue. I can't go back and forth like crazy with the email, but we'd love to be able to help you out. If you're interested in the vitamin packs and the blood testing, super blood tests we do, the telehealth consults or otherwise, we could certainly do that. Remote patient monitoring. Hemologics we'll talk about every chance we get, and we'll put some information up. By next week, we'll have website for you to look at, landing page, all sorts of great stuff. So thank you for listening.